Okay. Relaxed, revigorated after I have a beer. I just listen Perfect Sense, Pink Floyd, obviously Roger Waters song. I use them, I know they are. Oh, no. For me, there are. I'm not gonna go there. I get frustrated. They know better their personal grievances and personality clashes. For me, only the music is important. I love them both or all of them. They make a huge difference in my life. That's an entire chapter in my book. Why we don't read Morometzi anymore. An entire chapter that is not about one concert or one song or one band, but the meaning of music in my life and what that music, mostly from Western side, meant for me and my generation, to use classic. I heard a little bit of music, my soul is restored again, my trust in humanity is still here. After Mr. Mozart was playing in the social club in Weimar, there is a part of the book, but without any irony or joke or metaphor, the music lifted my spirit a little bit, more than a little bit. So now I'm in a better mood. I would like to continue and read, translate from my novel that very meaningful. I wrote, I read a little paragraphs there and I realized, man, this is good, man. Actually, this is meaningful. It's good, Leo. It's good. You should read it in front of the camera for the entire world. Literally, it is meaningful for the entire world, for the East, for the West. Who hold the aces, the East or the West? This is the crap our kids are learning. Yes, meaningful kind of lyrics. However, my nephew Razvan, a straight A kind of guy, now in high school, never heard about Pink Floyd, ever. And what is worse, he's not interested. As an uncle who know a little bit about that kind, but the clash between the it's not a clash, it's a gap. That's how I say it in English. A gap between the generation, the culture, the way we grow up is huge. We need bridges. Spotify the bridges is meaningful. This one it is called obviously ping pong beer diplomacy. And by the way, instead of, I don't like hunting, elk hunting. What is the meaning of shooting an elephant from a helicopter with a big fucking gun? What is the meaning of that? Do you feel more manly? Does your muscles on the pump up on the chest and I feel, I shoot an elephant. Look at that. He was big. You're in a fucking helicopter or an elephant cannot avoid a bullet from a scope kind of rifle. What is the meaning of shooting that? What if you don't eat the animal? If you are not hungry, if you not skin the animal and make some clothes, some shoes out of it, some. If you don't, you are not the type of native people that go with a teepee from place to place and hunt tatanka, meaningful and sustainable for hundreds and hundreds of years. Why the fuck do you have the internal need of shooting a big animal and putting there on the wall? What is wrong with you? Why are you so kind of a small kind of person that you need to validate your masculinity shooting and killing other animals? I will never understand that. I have not an elk, a deer here. Romanian beer because the water comes from a spring in the forest, and it's a very good beer, man. Enjoy life. Spotify the fucking Leo, that's me. Because everything I say is more meaningful than other bullshit that you are paying for. I'm not trying to put other people down. I'm trying to raise the level of conversation. I was never jealous of billionaires and people that they have fast cars and I don't know how much bling fucking bling. I don't give a flying fuck. Live and let live. Don't fucking believe. But when the little guy has no chance, the little guy has the foot on his neck or the knee on his neck, he cannot fucking breathe. Doesn't matter if you are white or black or blue or yellow or brown or Asian. Everybody deserves a fair chance in life. Everybody deserves respect in this life. Everybody deserves human dignity in this life. It's important for presidents to the little guy, to the kid in the corner of the street that is selling himself. I see on the highest level of the planet, talk, 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 talk. I don't know. I don't know. My trust in humanity, sometimes it is, sometimes it is. I need to express my. Don't go away. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'm back. However, there is no prohibition here. I need more beer. It's a fact of life. I need more beer. Now we're good. So, what we're talking about the monkey. You know, the monkey. Once upon a time, it was a famous monkey. The monkey is confused. When I am looking to the world, the monkey is confused. The monkey that Roger Waters was talking in Perfect Sense song. That monkey on a pile of stones. The Jews killed the Arabs, and the Arabs killed killed the hostages. Yeah, that's part of the United Nations resolutions, preventing conflict. Eh? And there are nuclear submarines going to the seas of the planet. Monkeys confused. Let's read. Art, literature, music can save our mortal souls. This is only a fragment of a chapter, which is chapter 12. My novel, The Peak of the Hawk. The, at tennis, I saw tennis. Nadal won. Amazing fight between the amazing game between the Medvedev and Nadal. Amazing. 5 games, 5 sets, and he deserved it very well. Beautiful show. There was the Hawkeye, when the was ching that much. Very useful. Very useful. Yes, the same kind of hawk. The peak of the hawk. There's the name of the chapter, and there is a hill there. Sometimes I like to see the moral ground, the higher moral ground, but I'm not trying to take a higher moral ground. No, I just try to renovate, to build back better, as somebody would say. 5 barracks that my working barrack, the one that the workers in construction they use. My father put them together, put a roof on top, and that is a little house. It's not in the prairie, it's between the hills here, 120 kilometers from 136 from where I'm sitting now in Bucharest. 136 kilometers, 2 hours and a half away from here. A small property. I wrote about it. I tried to build it back better. Apparently all the powers in the world, all the presidents, they're not able to create an environment when a sure Romanian guy, peaceful, nice, and respectful, can build and rebuild what his father left for him, the legacy of his father. A few barracks, okay, I'll work with a few barracks. I don't need a palace. Let me finish, rebuild, and live happily there. Apparently it wasn't possible. Let me have my marriage there, my wife, my son. It wasn't possible anymore. There is a story behind all of that, and the fragment of the novel, fragment, paragraph, part of the chapter 12 is ping pong beer, diplomas, ping pong beer actually. So dialogue, they keep yapping about dialogue. Here is dialogue. Let's open up the ping pong table. My nephew, Razvan, that's his name, said, the one that is straight A and never heard about Pink Floyd and Roger Waters and he's not interested. The one who went in the mall across the street to see a horror kind of movie with the entire class and with the teacher. True story. I'm not screaming like an idiot. I'm talking about meaningful, true stories of my life. However, the one that didn't get a chance to see the Green Book, that I recommend as a good movie, appropriate, age appropriate, and educative for him and for actually for the rest of the class. Now, good idea, I said to him. That was just introduction, who this character is. Good idea, I said. Let's open up the table. I answered to him. I pull out the table from the corner. We dusted up, and in a few minutes the table was set up. Lauren and Andrea, how do you say this in English? Anyway, Andrea, the wife, the mother and father of Razvan, they they start playing ping pong on the table and they are very, very good. It's like a world class championship there. I was watching them from a side together with my nephew Razvan. In the accompanied by the sound of the ping 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 pong of the table hitting the surface of the table. Through my head I have a lot of thoughts. Again, this is in Romanian here. I'm translating as I read, so be kind with me. Dialogue. Never take your eye from the ball, I told the kid, joking and reenacting a scene from Forrest Gump, the famous movie, Hollywood movie. Characters from that movie came into my mind, playing ping pong. The scenes from the movie reminding us the war from Vietnam took my thoughts to the fight between the great powers, to the planetary games that they are playing. Too often for them, the entire planet was nothing than a chess table when one or another they are playing Go. They try to surround each other, contain each other. Even at a personal level, I had the sensation that somebody was playing a big ping pong game with our lives and our destinies, with our families, and even with our countries. I was raised in a communist country, member of Pact of Warsaw, that it was in opposition to the NATO Pact alliance. As a kid, I learned through official propaganda that us, the communists, we are the communists, we are fighting the capitalists because their society is decomposed, morally decomposed, and based on greed and profit. There is a huge gap between the social classes there, between the one that they are very rich and they are exploiting the one that they are poor. Actually, it's not in the novel, but actually it's exactly the way it is, unfortunately, with a lot of nuances. Here, yes, there is a huge gray area. There are a lot of nuances, but this is how I wrote that. From here, the syntax that we use in our childhood, in my childhood and my adolescence, was exploiting the exploitation of the man, of the other man. That's how I grew up to the point when I became an adult. After the Romanian Revolution in December 1989, we freed ourselves from the communist dictatorship and we came, obviously, at the capitalist society that was there before the formation of Romania as a country at the end of the Second World War. No, that's wrong. Romania was formed after the First War. The First War, not the Second. Then, in 1918, 1st of December is our National Day. Then in the year 2004, we joined NATO. It was undoubtedly a historical moment for my country. We regain our natural place between our allies, Western allies. However, now they are telling from the highest level of these alliances and the highest level of the planet there that we have to fight with the East, with the Russian threat, and with the political and economical rising of China. As a consequence, we should spend billions and billions of euros to contain this. So I'm thinking to myself, well, we fought with the Russian threat all our lives. In the year of 1956, it was a revolution in Hungary. First provocation, major provocation for the Eastern Bloc. And then in 1968, it was Spring in Prague. Under the leadership of Alexander Dubček, the Czech and the Slovaks launched a program of reforms, liberal reforms, that they were asking for the freedom to have multiple political parties, freedom of the press, and plans for a federalization of Czechoslovakia between two countries with equal rights. Those reforms were very worried for Brezhnev, that was the leader of the Soviet Union of the time, and he was worried that those kind of actions will lead to a breakage in the former communist bloc in the middle of the Cold War. Yet the dream of independence of Czechoslovakia outside the USSR umbrella didn't last long, because in a beautiful night in August 1968, between 5,000 and 7,000 tanks occupied the streets of the city, being accompanied by a large number of troops, between 200,000 and 600,000 troops. The friendly and allied countries from the Pact of Warsaw, USSR, the Democratic Republic of Germany, Poland, Hungary, and Bulgaria crashed the Spring in Prague. Only two countries refused to participate: Albania and Romania. If Then in 1956, the Romanian government collaborated with the forces that crushed the Hungarian Revolution. I don't think that was in 1956 the political situation in Romania has no, as you say today, off-ramp, no wiggling room than to join the Soviets. However, in 1968, the situation in Romania was changed. Now Ceausescu opposed to the invasion and kept a historical speech when he condemned that aggression against a friendly country. The Romanian army was in the highest level of maximum alert because we were waiting as the Russian tanks were ready to cross our borders. At that moment, we have a common border with what today is Ukraine. At that moment, it was the former USSR. So we are exactly in the situation that Ukraine is today. We are waiting any moment, any hour, any day that the former USSR to invade us, their tanks, their army. And they already did it in August in Prague, so it wasn't hypothetical at all. After all, they already invaded Budapest in 56 and Prague. They are not afraid or ashamed to march in through Bucharest Street. What kept them at that particular moment, our allies, Soviets, not to invade our country? Maybe our stone, rock solid will of the Romanian army to defend our national territory till the last man standing, and actually the support from the West, the Western Bloc supported Romania and condemned an invasion, and not to forget the friendship between the Romanian nation and the Chinese people. The very good diplomatic relationship between China, the other great communist power of the time, and Romania were instrumental in calming down Moscow actions against us. We, the Romanians, we knew very well how it is to be in a location between the East and the West. Our entire history is witnessing this kind of situation. And the period that we lived through the Cold War was even more eloquent about that. Practically the entire humanity was under the threat of the nuclear war and the possibility of unimaginable happening. The complete mad, mutual assured destruction, the complete annihilation of our human race. Yet, at the beginning of the 90s, the USSR collapsed. Russia became Russia, and the former Soviet Republic regained their independence. I was a survivor of the Romanian Revolution, and my country entered a new path of capitalism after 1990, after the Romanian Revolution in 1989. We, the Romanians, we hope to live now like in America or in Germany. The Cold War was finished, was ended, and I was happy then, because isn't that the truth? When the war is over, I thought in my naivete that after the war it will be peace. And then, 30 years later, ironically and cynically and unacceptably, I hear the same kind of refrain. West is fighting the East, and the East is fighting the West. So I'm thinking to myself in my mind, when is our time to live? When is our time to live our lives? When is our time to for love? When is our time to get married? When is our time to have kids that we take care of them with love and educate them with wisdom, and then at their own turn to grow up and give us the joy of being grandparents. In our entire history, Romania was a country at the intersection of the great powers. And not only once, together at Yalta and then at Malta, they did play ping pong with our lives. I'll be back because the rest is not about history. It's more fun about that. So, no elk hunting here, no cesspool of toxic masculinity, like in some Spotify kind of things, literature, history, parts of our lives, current events. My guests were playing happily on the table of the new table that I just bought it in the hallway. Ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. That's how the table was hitting the ball was hitting the table, and I even don't know how to call these things. We call them palette and the surface of the table. And then I was able to hear their shouting and happy shouting and their laughs. Yet my thoughts were flying far away on the path of the past. I thought with great nostalgia about my father that brought those barracks here and recycled them as an idea to recycle them and he thought to build a house, and this is how he was able to feed a few workers in the village, working to build his house. Unfortunately, my father was not here in that particular day to see the house finished, and my nephew Razvan playing ping pong together with his parents, happily in a hallway on my new ping pong table. I thought about my mom that took all those histories that taught. My mom was a history teacher, taught all those histories, all those stories in great detail, accurate kind of historical details. I'm a storyteller. My mom was accurate in great detail to many generation after another generation of students. I thought at the school in the village that needed so much, that was in so much need of renovation. I thought about the small park in front of the city hall that was in ruin. I thought about the kids in the village and all the kids of the rural areas of Romania that they need equal opportunities with the kids that they were born in, as I was, in the capital of the city or other big urban cities of the country. Even so, with all those thoughts in my head, I felt coming out of me a feeling of frustration, a fury that was justified and hard to contain. Maybe it was my nature, my human nature, my Latino passionate kind of blood. Maybe I put too much importance in those things. Yet it is what it is. I'm sick and tired of this planetary game, I thought to myself. I'm sick and tired of this planetary kind of ping pong. I felt like screaming all the leaders of this fucking world from the east and from the west. Stop! Stop playing with our lives, with our destinies, with our families, with our countries. Stop! Unfortunately, the reality was that 30 years after the ending of the Cold War, the world of today was as well divided, as antagonistical, as full of weapons. How do you say? It's about the arm race. As aggressive as in the years of my, as well as like in my teenage years, in the years of my adolescence, I could translate in English. If I could bring all those leaders of the world together on the same table, even even if I would have been able to bring all those world leaders at the same table, those guys would have not be able to understand each other, to come to a common ground about some simple kind of and normal kind of actions, like metaphorically speaking, who will be the one to cut the grass in the courtyard, who will be the one to fix the fence, who will be the one to help me put some drywall in the interior of the house, who will be the one to help to change an older door, front door, with a newer one, safer and why not better looking. I was fed up with those kind of leaders. I'm the strongest, most powerful man of the planet, they used to say on TV. No, no, I am the strongest man of the planet. The other leader, a leader from the West said, the other leader from the East shouted back. All of them, they show themselves on TV in their appearance so powerful, but in reality, they are not able to solve the simplest and the most basic human requests. I was tired to see them on TV with their meetings, with their protocols, with their fanfare kind of appearances, and my house, the school in the village, as so many others, were so deeply in need of repair. Maybe neither I, same as the character from Forrest Gump in the movie with the same name, I wasn't a very smart man, but I knew one thing. I knew what love is, true love, honest love, natural and complete. When I was a kid and an adolescent member of the Eastern Bloc, I had no desire, absolutely no desire to fight the Western Europe or America or the Americans. On the contrary, I wanted to be and live like them. I grew up with an idea of a great America, a country in which the human being is respected, and if you are intelligent and hardworking, you could have a very good life. America was for us the beacon of democracy, of human rights, and prosperity. After the revolution from December 89, I discovered the expression the city on the hill, the citadel on the hill, a metaphor talking about a higher moral ground. I liked that expression very much. Also, in my adolescent year, in my teenage year, I wished to travel, to know the world. But for us, the Romanians, was not so easy to do that, as being part of the communist country, it wasn't so free to travel, and you need serious kind of verification by the secret police. Neither at that time I did not want it to enter in Budapest or in Prague with a tank, Romanian tank or Soviet kind of tank. I wish to go there with a backpack, with friends, to know their country, their history, to have a beer there. The idea of invading another country, even that I was a young teenager, 14 or 15, when I thought about that, for me it was a horrible kind of idea, completely unacceptable. Years later, after I rediscovered love and the joy of living with my wife Isabella, my girlfriend, I felt exactly the same. I have absolutely no desire to fight with the threat of Russia and the rise of China. We thought about ourselves. We make a plan for ourselves to finish the house and to open there a small camp for kids, summer camp, where the kids should feel safe and secure to play and learn something useful for the entire life, how to plant a seed in the ground, how to set up a tent, how to cook something, a soup or a barbecue, how to learn a foreign language, English or Spanish or so many others, how to walk on a trail in the mountain, backpacking. We finished our renovating our house as good as we were able to do that, and now we had friends and coming, and the house was full of joy. But it was clear to me that was a long road up to the moment when we will be able to open to start that summer camp. In this kind of reality, objective as it is, make me feel full of revolt and frustration. I had the feeling that all kind of bad people, traffickers, gangsters, all kind of bad people, they have more respect and more value for this kind of society from the authorities than two honest people that met, fall in love, and decided to do something educative and useful in this kind of society. And I asked to myself, what the fuck kind of society is that? You heard everywhere on TV about all kind of elites and their pyramid, Egyptian or other kind of pyramid. What kind of values those kind of pyramids brought in the world that we live in? I remember Forrest Gump. I remember that Forrest Gump started to play ping pong in a center of recovering for the veterans, war veterans, and that's how he came to be in the national team of the United States, and then he went far away to China. In our country, I saw on TV a sad kind of news about a NATO summit, and yet a part of the veterans of Romania came home after they fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. I had the idea of starting right there in the hallway a little social experiment and ask my cousin Laurențiu, do you think our veterans, war veterans, do they have ping pong tables in their centers of recovery and treatment and the hospitals that they are housed in? My cousin Laura stopped playing ping pong and turned to me, obviously shocked of my question, and he asked me, obviously confused, what centers? What centers are you talking about? Yeah, what centers? Andrea, his wife, asked me. I don't know about any center, he said, Lauren. Exactly, because there are no real recovery, treatment and recovery centers for the veterans of Romania today. Let me explain. I was watching as you're playing here with that kind of intensity that it seems that you are a world kind of championship. I remember that movie, Forrest Gump. I'm sure you have seen it. I thought that it will be a good idea that tonight to come together, all of us, and see it together. What do you think? You know, I saw Romanian TV, a piece of journalism that make me very angry, to be honest. The story goes that in the year 2012 or 2013, a Romanian association of war veterans started to build a hospital, a center of treatment and recovery. And since then, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, even still today, that center is not ready. Yet it seems that at the government of Romania, there are no money for that. At the Ministry of Defense, there are no money for it. In the Ministry of Health of Romania, there are no money for that. At the Education Minister, there are no money for education. In the same time, NATO built a new headquarters, a beautiful kind of construction. They opened it, inaugurated with great symphony concert of a philharmonic very famous. So for them, it was enough money. There were enough money. This is the image of uncare, not care of the top of the planetary elite, of the discontent with the real life, with the real people. Disconnect. Why it is so hard to renovate, to build a school, to build a hospital, to start a camp for kids, as we tried to do here. I răbufnesc, I come out, I ask myself angry. If you overpose the image of the new NATO headquarters and the image of the Center for Recovery of the Veterans in Romania, you see there black and white the true image of respect, so-called respect that those motherfuckers, the piece of shit that they called the planetary elites, they do have for the ordinary people. Maybe I'm not a smart man, but I know one thing for sure, that respect is a two-way street, no matter who you are. What? To highway, I said, to highway street. What highway? My cousin is laughing. They made only a few kilometers from Bucharest here, 52 kilometers. And if you want to go there to the mountains to ski, exactly, I talked about that too. I answered with a calmer voice. As usual, when I was passionate about a subject, I was raising my voice, that my argument could be heard outside over the terrace, the porch. Hey, hey, what did you get so angry? I heard you screaming, but I didn't understand what you're saying. So I came here to check it out. Isabella entered in the hallway that now it was a ping pong place. Oh, I get angry indeed. I got angry, Isa, because I have the feeling that some people are playing ping pong, planetary ping pong with our lives and with our destinies. Honestly, Livio, I don't understand what you mean, but I don't know the entire context of your discussion. She said, well, we're talking about, what we're talking about? Ah, movies, American movies. Forrest Gump, about our lives. I was thinking that if the planetary elites, the one that they are leading us, would have a minimum kind of respect for this country, for a young family as we are, when when we had Vladi, my son, maybe my trajectory in life would have been different. Maybe the Romanian people that emigrated hundreds of thousands, apparently 3-4 million, that emigrated out of their country, wouldn't became emigrants through the western part of Europe, maybe I wouldn't have to emigrate myself, leaving my son behind, full of tears, sobbing in tears at the airport. And if I would really wanted to visit to see Canada, I could have gone there as a tourist. Otherwise, in 15 years living there, now I realize that in 15 years, almost 15 years living there, I wasn't able to visit Niagara, the fall. Ah, yes, now I know what you're talking about, she said to me, oh, calmfully, calming me down. Well, there is no meaning to bring the past now, all these unpleasant memories. To drag this past out to the light. Yeah, that's the meaning. There is no. We're feeling all right. We have all the friends here. Come on. Let's enjoy their presence and let's have fun together. She told me with her warm voice. She came close to me and hugged me. My island of peace, I whispered in her ear. How much I need you in my life. I stayed there. We stayed like that a few long seconds, and then I said to her, "You know, my love, I didn't bring all those memories to the past. They came by themselves. You know, this is why I rebuild this property, and I call it Ithaca, to have an island of peace, a place where you are able to come back to." Hey, what are you doing here? Alina came inside, another character from the novel. Oh, you're kissing each other. You love each other. Very good, very good. Keep going. And oh, you're drinking beer without me. She was laughing. And she took my beer from the place I left it. Why are you taking my beer? There is no beer left outside? I ask myself, Mirat. Anyway. Yes, but the fridge, that little fridge, with the thermostat is at the maximum and all our beer is frozen now. If none of you were good enough to come and fix it, I make fun ironically. Hey, my dear, let's go and unfrozen the beer for those people, I told Isa, laughing, this time completely relaxed. Hey kids, keep on going with the ping pong. You're doing very well. Razvan, nephew, come on, keep playing because if we are good enough, the guys from China will ask us to play with them. At least that was in the movie. Till then, I'll take the goals and we go to unfreeze the freezer, the fridge, and then we are going to solve the problem of world peace. What world peace are you dreaming at, Livio? Alina asked me curiously. Well, I have a secret recipe. I answered her, joking. I have a secret recipe. I go out on the terrace, and there all our friends were laughing. Indeed, it was fridge in. It was beer in the fridge, yet most of the beers were frozen. Beer bottles were frozen. Let's get them out in the sun. They will melt. I told her, no, 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 not they are gonna melt and they are gonna get warm. It's not a good idea. Somebody else contradict me. I was thinking what to do, and I found a good solution. I take a bucket of water, I fill it up with cold, fresh water from the fountain, from the, how do you say, the rig, the well, the well in the garden, and I put the frozen beer inside. Now we are gonna take them out in the sun. I said, this is a better idea. Well, by the time those beers are gonna unfreeze themselves, tell us your idea. Tell us your idea with the world peace. Alina was amused and she insisted. Okay, okay, give me my beer back and I'm gonna explain it to you. I get my beer, I pour half of the glass and I gave it back to the girl. And then after a longer pause, just for the effect, to raise up the expectation a little bit and to gather my thoughts, I told them, look the way I would do that. I would invite all of those leaders that are fighting each other for the supremacy of the world, for leading the world, for world domination. I'm talking about all the usual guys there, Obama, Trump, Biden, that the American leaders are changing more faster than other leaders. And of course, дорогие друзья, Putin, together with the great leader of China, Xi Jinping. These guys is a little bit easier because you know who you are talking with. They are there for life. I will ask them to come and visit our country, visit us, our regular people, not only our presidents, our politicians, the parliament, and all the bullshit there, the government, the puppet kind of government, and the puppet kind of president that we have, that there are good for nothing except wasting our money. The president of the government of Romania. I would show them the house, the build back better house, the renovating house, the fixer-upper, the house that we fix together. I will invite them to our table and we will give them the best hospitality according to the Romanian tradition from the bottom of our heart. We are going to serve them a little bit of tsuika, plum brandy, a palinka, double distilled, a beer or some wine, some shorties, some cabbage rolls made by my mom, or some kind of fish dishes from the Danube with polenta, with some tomatoes roasted on the barbecue and mashed together with some Romanian garlic. And like that, having some tsuika, having some wine, maybe they will get relaxed and will start talking less about the fight of the great powers of the world and more about collaboration between the greatest powers of the world. Because those Americans, the ones that were not able to build a highway in Romania from start to finish, after 140 years of friendship with us, the Romanians, those guys that we waited as Jesus Christ coming at the second time, Those that all day long they make pictures with the Bible in their hand, but they never open the book and read what is written there. Read what is written there. You should not steal. I would invite these guys to sit down on the table and talk about that. With the Chinese, we have a long and beautiful friendship. But today, in our modern times, the Romanian government went there, visit, shook hands, make deals and protocols. However, when it about building something, there is nothing built. But from some investigating journalists, we found out that even the Chinese, they want to take the harbor of Constanța, the airport from Bucharest, exactly like the Dutch people wanted to. Or if we give them enough space and land and authorization, they will build a private airport in our country, where if it is private, they can do what the fuck they want. They bought the mining from Afghanistan to Africa. Why they wouldn't like the natural resources of Romania? You know what? We have a saying, it's not stupid the one that is asking for, it's stupid the one that is selling it for peanuts money. That means us, the Romanians. Actually, more precise, our top elites, the president and the government, that there are very, and here I'm ironic, very patriotic kind of guys. You understand that I'm ironic. What is said is the fact that we have so many people ready to betray this country for a few silver coins. And about Putin, what shall I say about Putin? He took Crimea because he needed. He needed a military base and opening to the sea. He built a big bridge there. And our part of Moldavia, Basarabia, we still have a bridge there, but a metaphorical bridge, a bridge of flowers. It is a fact of history. In 1990 or 1991, Romanians from other side of the river, they went there and they put flowers, and flowers went from one side to another. It was so beautiful symbolically, yet in reality, history is very different. That's why I'm talking about the bridge of flowers. Look how we are going to do with all these guys. We are going to make a big, beautiful, rich, lavishing kind of table with the most expensive cutlery and plates. And me and Isabella, we are going to sit on a different kind of table, smaller and more modest, with wooden kind of cutlery and simple ceramic kind of plates. Hey, Leo, this is the historical legend you are talking about between Dromicheta and Lysimach. Yes, it's a part of, we learn at school what you are talking about. Alina laughed at me and recognizing what I'm talking about. Yes. You see, it's easy to spot who went to school and really learn in the classroom, had good teacher. Okay. This is the plan. After we eat with all those leaders, we are having a coffee at the dessert, and I would ask them, why would you like to take advantage of my country when your countries are so big, so powerful, and so rich? Why there is so much tension in this world? Why you fight each other so hard? And why do we need a new arm race in our lifetime? Why we cannot understand each other like normal kind of people and work together to build something? Why you divided this world again and again and again in different kind of alliances and antagonical kind of blocks, pacts, alliances. The one who is not with us is against us. That is Tavarish Lenin, Vladimir Ilyich. He said that. And then I was so shocked when I heard the Supreme Commander of the American Army, Mr. George W. Bush, saying basically the same thing in a speech that is not famous, rather infamous kind of speech. What is wrong? What is wrong with you people? Why this pro-war attitude that I'm sick and tired of? Aren't those leaders good to bring at the table a different, more positive kind of approach? Dialogue. Well, then the American will say that you want to break down NATO, and the European, they will say that you want to destructure the European Union. Morel, a friend of mine, intervened in the discussion. What the fuck is that? This is stupid. I answered them hearing this kind of nonsense. This is nonsense. Of course, there will be enough people to say whatever they want to say. That I'm a nationalist, I'm anti-European, I'm anti-NATO, but this is bullshit, man. Since Romania was Romania and Europe was Europe, we were and we are today Europeans. We don't need somebody to give us a seal of approval that we are Europeans. What we really need is salaries and pensions, retirement funds like in Europe, and not their stamp of approval. I am European, period. We are here in Europe, at the intersection of the empire between the East and the West. Even and in our history, we suffered enough about that. Then it's time, maybe, it is time today to take advantage of our geographical position, of our geography, and turn it into an asset. I'm sick and tired of stupidity. You know something? The one that they are going to say all of the bullshit that you mentioned, I'm going to answer them with one famous quote unquote. Hey, from Casablanca, Snorky entering the room because referring to a famous night when I was exasperating everybody. I was a little tipsy and we saw Casablanca, the famous movie with Humphrey Bogart, together, and to their exasperation, I was keep reciting the lines before they were on the screen, annoying everybody. No, this time not from Casablanca. I'm laughing, understanding the joke. No. It is a quote unquote from Nelson Mandela. I will tell them like this. Our enemies are not necessarily my enemies. But aren't we tied up, connected, obliged by our alliances and treaties that we sign with NATO and the European Union? Of course we are. Of course we are. There is no if or maybe in this. Of course we are. However, in those kind of alliances, don't we have a word to say? If the war is about to start, there is no doubt that we are loyal to our partners. However, I cannot stop asking myself about the way they behave. Were they loyal to us even in the peacetime? Oh, this is a good and very interesting question Morel mentioned to us. I don't know how to do pe gânduri. It's a Romanian expression when he was thinking deeply. Oh, this is a good and interesting question. Hey, Leo, the European Union will be angry with you. My friend Adrian warned me. Why they should be angry? Mr. Popescu, that's his name. Why should they be angry? Because you don't line up. You don't line up with the official speech. I'm sick and tired of their speeches. There are countries that are not line up in this world, you know? As a friend of mine from the army, when I was in the infantry, a guy with a special kind of humor, we saw on a Bollywood movie with some elephants, and one of the elephants didn't want to stay in line. And he asked, is that elephant stupid that he doesn't want to stay in line? Everybody laughed. Obviously, that elephant was smarter than all the others. That was a memory from good old times. Anyway, talking about our alliances, what kind of alliance is that one that you are not allowed to open your mouth, even if you pay 2% of the GDP of your country to buy the most expensive weapon system that it is? The doctor. The doctor is another friend that actually is a doctor. The doctor asked, we are allowed to talk with the Eastern countries, he mentioned, the official line from the Romanian foreign policy, as the Romanian president said this on TV. Yes, we are allowed to talk with the Eastern countries, only in the institutional kind of frame. That was the president of Romania in a televised interview. What the fuck is an institutional kind of frame? Well, obviously, it's not for nothing that I nicknamed him Captain Coward, that now is the big famous kind of Hollywood trend with Marvel superheroes, Superman, Captain America, Batman. What the fuck, really? What the fuck? How do you translate institutional frame? In the free translation is when Daddy Macron and Mommy Merkel will allow us to do that. Hey, Merkel is retiring from European politics. Isabella mentioned to me. Very good, Isa, no problem. We'll invite her too. Did you know that when she was young, being born in the Democratic Republic of Germany, she was backpacking in Romania, in the mountains of Romania? I'm very sure that she didn't litter here. She put all the garbage in the garbage bin. We should learn as Romanian from their good habits. It is good that she's retired. She's invited to revisit us. I will ask her to sit here on this table to meet my mother. I will introduce them. Mrs. PhD Angela Merkel, Mrs. Teacher Cecilia Dudo, my mother. I will let them have a coffee together and talk about austerity. As my mother never waited for the financial crisis of 2008 to come to introduce in our families austerity measures, in simple translation, to live in our means, in the limit of our budget, and borrowed as little as it possible. That's how my mom lived. The measure that needed to be implemented, those fucking piece of shit kind of elites, they needed to be implemented before the financial crisis happened to prevent that kind of catastrophe. Those fucking elites, dialogue, those fucking elites took their bonuses on the Wall Street. And here in Europe, we had the crisis and austerity, and us, the Romanians, we have to borrow billions to help the banks of Romania that do not belong to Romanian anymore. Dialogue. And yes, the pension of my mom after 45 years of working in the trenches of education system in Romania was something about 350 euros a month. And then are the Social Democrats that in Romania, not the popular of Europe, they increased her pension to 600 euros. Well, I'm going to give Merkel 600 euros a month to see the level of living, the standard of living. Oh, dialogue. Oh, Macron. Yes, talking about Macron. There is no problem. Let's talk about Macron. I will invite Macron too. Yeah, let's have some palinka. Get together. Get to know each other. If he's coming, I'm going to learn all the lyrics from the Marseillaise. We're going to sing it together. I promise. And about the alliances between Renault and Dacia, it is a very good example of win-win philosophy. It is my best example that I have. Let him come, let them come, all of them. I don't mind. My gate is open for them. I would like them to come. I insist for them to come because I want to invite all of them to sit on the same table and talk openly and freely, meaningfully about economics, about moral ground. But there is one more question. I would ask them, why did you move the arm race from the one that we talked in the 80s? The same arm race that we were fighting and talking and singing against in the 80s in the space. Because we didn't solve our problem here on the planet Earth. Dialogue. Yes, your question is good, but you know what they are going to answer to you? They are going to explain on a superior kind of tone that all those problems here on the planet Earth are very complicated and very complex. And they cannot solve this as you clap your hands like that or do like this. Yes, I got it. The same like Obama explained the situation with America, right? America is not a racing boat, it's an ocean liner, has a lot of inertia. Undeniable, yes. Now, in real talk, there is no doubt that those problems of the planetary importance, there is no magic wand like this to do like this and all of them will be solved and will disappear. Yet, those kind of elites, they knew how to hide, give or take 30 trillion in their accounts in the fiscal paradises. They made a system for themselves of laws for the one very rich. And then they came in our country and they keep up lessons and speeches about anti-corruption and morality. Level with me. That's how they used to talk. Like when I was installing the tiles, I didn't know how to keep the level in my hand. Thanks God that they came to teach me. This is the reason, the real reason why, Leo, why, Livio, why your mom, it's exactly the thing you're talking about. This is the real reason why your mom doesn't have today a 1,500 euro pension, as it will be a decent standard of living. Too many elites, too many of them very corrupt. Yes, we have a lot of social problem here in France. The guy from Paris intervened. That's another character. Bernard, a doctor from Paris, from France, a friend of us that visited. I am a doctor in France, yet I pay a lot of taxes and I work very hard and yet I work very hard for my education and I'm paying my taxes. The multinational companies are reducing their taxes through methods that there are less legal and they paid 1% or less, and their profits are in the order of billions. Yes, indeed. I heard about that. There are too many fiscal paradises here in Europe, in this Europe of us. The Irishman, there is an Irishman there, not the one from Hollywood. There was indeed a person that came from Ireland and visited me for a few days. Very nice guy. He said, "Hey, Ireland is not a fiscal paradise. You know, Ireland is a country where we have better business opportunities, better tax system." Yes, I got it. I got it. I knew that the subject was vast, and I didn't have all the answers, so nobody contradicted him. To alleviate the situation, you're not gonna solve all those problems with a few leaders here at the table, somebody said to me. You should invite more than 3, 4, 5, 6 leaders. You should invite all the leaders from Europe to collaborate, to cooperate with that in solving all the situation that you are talking about. Why stop at Europe? All the nation and the economies, the stronger economies should participate. The guys from G7 or the guys from G20, those kind of civilized state. Well, then we should go to United Nations. Alina laughed at us. There is where we should go and solve all this problem. Don't laugh. It is true what you are saying. What shall we do if we go to the United Nations? This society of the United Nations, they talk and they talk, they analyze and they talk, and in the end, after so much talk, they are voting some kind of resolution that nobody gives a flying fuck. I don't know, really, I don't know why we're paying their salaries. To read, to laugh with Trump or because of Trump. So, or to invite Trump there to keep a speech when he was telling me to love my nation, to love my history, my culture, and as a stupid guy I am, to look up to him, listening his speech, believe his words in the mouth of the American partner, and then to install here a government that in less than 2 years of governing, so-called governing, borrowed and borrowed and borrowed and put this country in debt, in financial slavery for 3 generations. How can you be independent when you are sold and owned like that? This is not independence. This is financial slavery. In the time of Ceausescu, in the 80s, people lived bad and very bad because he gathered all the money, all the foreign currency of the country to pay our external debt, national debt. And now in the 21st century, all those debts, all those loans, who is going to pay for them? The European Union, the Americans, Trump, Biden, Merkel, Macron. It was my understanding that we have to pay 1 billion a year now only to cover the interest. That kind of question was floating into the air without, obviously, without any kind of answer. And obviously we didn't have the answers of all those questions, but we're very well aware of those kind of loans, that so-called pro-democratic and full of bullshit kind of government will affect our future. And we'll have to pay those kind of interest many years to come. Isabella, if you are going to invite if we are going to invite those leaders from G20 countries, we'll need a bigger table. Alina, you will need a bigger table. Alina was laughing at Isabella. Because there is no space here on this terrace. Where shall I have a bigger house? She asked. From my salary of a just starting kind of teacher, entry level teacher. If it wouldn't have been Livio, I wouldn't have been able to support myself. I'm very happy that at least we finished this house, Isabella said. I read a joke on the internet. Popescu intervened in our discussion. Do you know who is the biggest influencer of the planet? No, I don't know. The Pope. The Pope from Rome. We were a little confused. The Pope? Yes, man, the Pope from Rome. He has more than 1 billion likes on his social network. Ah, okay. Now I understand the joke. More than 1 billion people of faith. More than 1 billion likes. Okay. So, how about the Pope? You're not thinking to invite him here at the same table? Yes, sure, I will invite him. At least I know why it's going to be very crowded on this table. I'm not going to invite him on the table. I'm going to invite him up in the balcony, We have a little wooden balcony there. His Highness, His Excellency, he has his famous balcony right there at the Vatican. So we made our little balcony here. We will set up for him, especially for him, a small table, 2 chairs. We'll have a coffee. I heard that he likes coffee from the machine, like me. We sit there quietly. We watch the nature, the hills, the trees, the forest. We hear the birds singing. We drink the coffee. We talk about it. What are you gonna talk about it? There are so many things that we can talk about it. I have a little bit of question and answer in my life, such as what happened when some people were sacrificing their lives on the Second World War, planes and trenches, and other priests were assembling networks to extract Nazi criminals from the country. So, or I will ask them why the Catholic priest cannot marry and the Orthodox are allowed, because there are also Christians, right? What will be the reason for that huge difference between the Catholics and the Orthodox? I'm thinking to myself, if they would have normal kind of life, normal kind of families, wives and kids of their own, to make love with them, maybe those priests would not have been sexual abused, hundreds of thousands of kids and teenagers. These kind of things, this kind of question. I would ask him why, by the time we were working like stupid people, right, to the building sites of the countries, to the hospitals, to the schools, to educate, to install tiles as immigrants in foreign countries, at the point we broke our backs and hardly we are able to live paycheck to paycheck and put food on the table. In the same time, the Catholic Church was laundering billions of the mafia money through Bank of Vatican, through the Vatican Bank. And then where they were talking to us about the Bible, that book that said there not to lie, not to steal, not to kill. This kind of question. And if we have the opportunity to sit like that, tete-a-tete, at the discussion, I will ask him even more philosophical kind of. For example, why when we are saying the word human, automatically we are thinking about war? Are those two words connected somehow on a philosophical, social, moral kind of level? Why evil do exist on the face of this planet? And especially why there are so many ideologies, phraseologies that are try so hard to legitimize evil. Why some people want to put together the contraries, that kind of contraries that should never be put together and confused, good and bad. It is so false, the idea that evil should exist in order to be able to appreciate the good. I have a personal story about that, as I was able to understand the classical music because I had a school nearby across the street, and the teacher there, with passion for his job, and he educated us with some turning table and the vinyl, that she played music in the class not because he survived the Holocaust. Do you think the kids from Iraq or from Syria or the kids from Yemen or other countries destroyed by war, they do have time and disposition to understand the classical symphonic music? Do you think that after the hell of war, they met the hell of war they lived? Do you think it's a condition sine qua non to understand the classical music? I don't think so. Obviously, it's wrong. That kind of reasoning is profoundly wrong. It's just an excuse for evil to exist. What those kids do need is peace in their country and some good schools and teachers. That's what they need. You don't have to walk through hell to enjoy after that what is good in life and beautiful. Many people that there are singing about hell, they have sympathies for the devil. How many of them would go voluntarily to live for a month in a barrack in Auschwitz or in a Stalinist kind of prison to see on their own life experience, real life experience, how hell is, the same kind of hell that they are singing about? Those kind of guys that are living in hotels of 5 stars hotels, and they are jumbo jetting themselves, and they own private yacht. In the time, I would house them here in Romania, and I would give them in some communist prisons. I will give them some compulsory kind of reading. I have a list of books with God in the Underground, Richard Wimberg. It's a book that I have it there. The Journal of the Happiness, The Secret of the Fourth 13. Those kind of books that made me an image of hell way worse than Dante. I would keep them there for at least a month to these kind of prisons. Here it's I will give them a lecture about the Romanian Gulag and the life of the senior, we call it Corneliu Coposu. Here is a paragraph I need to complete. I want to raise awareness about the life of this particular gentleman of Romania. Anyway, he spent 20-something years in Romanian prison, 7 years in isolation, and an incredible kind of life experience he survived. It is enough to say, it's not in, I didn't finish this paragraph. It is enough to say that when he entered in the prison, he was 110 kilos and a champion of free fighting. How do you call? It's not judo. It's also, I don't know how to say, 110 kilos. And when he was released, he was 53 kilos. And they released him because they thought he is going to die in prison. He was that ill. He survived. He survived the Romanian Revolution in '89. He survived to see the transition of power. He survived to be for a period, an important figure in Romanian politics. Hollywood can make 5 at least different kind of movies based on his life. So sometimes I'm not that impressed of those superheroes, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man kind of characters at Hollywood, because I saw some documentaries about real life heroes from Romanian history and not only. So I'm gonna put those guys that they have sympathies for the devil and they are singing and writing about hell to stay in that prison at Sighet and Aiud when this gentleman stayed there for years, was in prison for years and years, to have first-hand experience to see how hell is, and then I would be very curious if they are going to have sympathy or sing about that. I will give them a compulsory, how do you say, when you project a movie. I will make them compulsory to see a movie, The Memorial of Pain, a documentary, an extraordinary documentary about the Romanian Gulag and the dark and secret part of the communists after the Soviets came in 1947 in Romania. I will ask the Pope very directly and personally, where is this God when the family is under attack, when your marriage and your wives are mocked, when when you go and tell your sins is manipulated, hypnotized and falsified, when you cannot believe and pray not even in the finest places of Christianity like the Athos mountain, because that's what happened to me there. As you can see, we will not be short of subjects. As many subjects we will have to discuss, His Highness, His Excellency, would be in a situation to take a week of vacation, of holiday, and come here and sit and stay with us at Șoimari. At least This Pope is practicing what he's preaching. It is my understanding that he is as a person, he is very modest and unpretentious. But if the Pope will come, we'll have to lay down the booze, man, the alcohol. Isa would make a coffee, a little tea in the morning, an organic kind of food that we find in the area. We'll manage. No worries. We'll manage. Anyway, it wouldn't be a very difficult kind of meeting because, as far as I heard, he's a good man, a peace lover kind of guy, a man that loves people, very cool, and even kind of a eco kind of pope, a green pope. Okay, okay. However, the majority of those presidents, of those leaders of states that you invited, they used to go to the Queen of England to visit. If you want to solve the world peace, Leo, you have to invite Her Majesty too, to put her in the top of the table. Maybe they will listen to her. No, 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 I wouldn't bother her with such an invitation. She is at the point in her life when she had a respectable kind of age and she traveled very, very much in her life. Her Majesty apparently is above politics. She is ruling, not governing, something like that. That sounds like she would be somewhere in the stratosphere above the space station or from Cosmos, lost between the planets. Something like that. Those guys from the Royal House of England are in fact responsible with all the pretty parties, and actually it's parangeli. It's a certain word of Romania that describe all kind of gatherings with different kind of occasion. Excuse me, I was about to say it with the events. I mean, weddings, when you have a kid and botes, how do you say? Kid naming, I don't know how to translate. Divorces and funerals, official dinings, and yes, royal scandals. The rest, something real, you don't really see from them. Hey, Prince Charles was in Romania many times, said Alina with great admiration. Yes, I know. I know. And what does it do to me? For me, I wish him health and happiness, and not to mention he is already wealthy, because the Romanian saying is you should be healthy and wealthy. So I wish him health as he's already wealthy enough. I don't have to invite him. I don't have to invite his two sons either, because they are on a permanent invitation in our countries. They can come here like home. They don't need a visa. Didn't Prince Charles said loud and clear he discovered that he is a relative of Vlad the Impaler? That's exactly my point. They don't need an invitation to come home. From Viscri, where Prince Charles has a house, to Shoimar is not a big distance. Maybe an hour and a half, even less. If you want to stop by, my gate is open for him. I don't know if he has a map or he has a GPS. All he has to do is let me know that he's coming to clean up the terrace, the rooms, the house. What I would like to see is the brothers to come together, and the monarchy is in good hands. But let them live. Let's see. Let's check out that beer that was frozen to see if it is unfrozen now. I go and check the bucket with the beer, and I found cold beer, very good for drinking. I bring the entire bucket there, and I put it on top of a chair. Look, Mr. Popescu, as you wish. You are served as in a fine dining kind of restaurant. We call it frappier, that kind of thing. Oh, I appreciate, he laughed at me. I heard everything you said, but I still did not understand your solution for world peace. I understand that you want to bring all together, to put them on the same table, to give them food, but they have countless summits and meetings like this before. They didn't solve a lot of things. They are still fighting each other. The arm race is still going. They are still one against another. You're right, Mr. Popescu, you're right. There were countless meetings before, and at some of them, very important things have been decided. I have in mind, of course, the meeting at Yalta. But now we should bring again the heavyweight of the world, Biden, Putin, see here, at Ithaca, at Shoimar. In 1943 at Yalta, the three heavyweights of the world talked each other, agreed each other to collaborate, to coordinate their effort, and to ensure the triumph of our civilization. Why they would not be able to do the same thing today, those three guys, today in 2022? And how are you going to persuade them to stop with that kind of antagonistic approach? Oh, I know. I'm going to play ping pong with them. Excuse me. Uh, no. It's a matter of translation. It's a unfortunate choice of words. Not playing fucking ping pong with them, but together with them. That's what I meant. It is different than their planetary kind of ping pong. This, my kind of ping pong, will be ping pong beer. I learned this from the bars in Thailand. Never heard about this one. How are the rules? How do you play this one? Oh, it is very simple. Let me show you. Bring me some plastic kind of glasses, and we are gonna set them like in a certain kind of shape. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both sides of the table. Oh, like a pyramid on the table. Yes, like a fucking pyramid. Two-dimensional kind of pyramid on horizontal. We make one here on this side of the net, and we make another one here on the other side of the net. We pour beer in those plastic cups, and then we are going to serve not with our own hands. Think, and if the ball is gonna go in one of those cups on the adversary part of the table, he has to drink that beer in the and then he takes the ball and serves back. And if the ball comes in this part of the table in one, I have to drink the and then I have to serve and keep going. Ping pong beer. And keep it like that till all the the cups, the plastic cups, and the beer is done. That's a funny game, but you realize that after a few games like this, everybody will be very kind of friendly with everybody. Absolutely, absolutely. That's exactly the idea. No, 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 no. The Irishman came and no, no, no. Sometime when something like that, they got tipsy and they got drunk, they start beating each other. I have a solution about that. I learned from them. They brainwash ourselves enough with their propaganda with the East and the West. I'm gonna do the same with them. I'm gonna make them listen only peace making kind of music. Give peace a chance. Give peace a chance in all the language of the world. I'm gonna ask Isa to play in a loop the Romanian version of this, the one that we used to listen when we were kids in the festival. And the Romanian lyrics are even more meaningful than the original. I remember the poet Onescu declamând, talking to the crowd on a full stadium with tens of thousands of people, young, beautiful, and passionate. Give peace a chance from a capital of planetary peace, Bucharest. This is a song about hearts and minds. And the lyrics are different than John Lennon, more meaningful, harmony and disarmament. Disarm. There is not enough food in the world. Even a worm is nuclear today. Do you remember the Atlantid, the one that sings? How much is 1 plus 1? I would say that is 0 when you are using a cannon gun to make the calculation. When hate is there, it's even more than 1 plus 1. When hate is gone, 1 alone makes more than 10 others. Give peace a chance, give peace a chance, and glory to the peace. Peace, peace, let's give peace a name. All the nations of the world, in all the languages of the world, let's name peace in French and Chinese, in German and Maltese. Let's make peace in music, in folk and in canto. Let's make peace in Esperanto. Let's make peace in every language. Let's make peace in the simple language of the planet Earth. Simple to understand. Give peace a chance and glory to the peace. But first and foremost, above all, let's hurry up and bring justice to this world. Peace should be translated in American and Russian. Actually, there is a line between Americano-Russo. It seems like it's one kind of language. Give peace a chance and glory to it. The poet used to tell us that you have the right to say loud and clear what you are thinking. You have the right to freedom. That is what the poet used to tell us in 1983, in the time of communist dictatorship. What we are doing today? We are keeping our heads down in our mediocrity, in our cowardness, individual cowardness or collective kind of cowardness, after some expressions that are empty of any kind of meaning, that remind me so stupidly of the wooden language from the time of dictatorship. For example, state of law and the pro-European course. What the fuck is state of law here in Romania? That's why I'm telling you. This is what we need. We need ping pong kind of beer. Yeah, da. It seems that it might be a solution. Kind of original. The Parisian kind of guy amused himself. Above those jokes, really, we need a new mindset in the international politics. You're right, Livio. There is so much hate, antagonism, and hypocrisy in the international politics that sometimes you feel like puking only when you look at them. And you feel like swearing to them, go in your mother beep, because they have no respect for our families, they have no respect for our mothers, they have no respect for our wives or our sons. They meet, they shake their hands, they make those stupid kind of pictures, protocol, and they discuss and discuss and discuss, and in the end, our lives are not changing to the better. You have the feeling that all those antagonistic approaches, they go on a very dangerous kind of trajectory that can lead, literally, they can lead us to the third world war. The world, the world is more and more fragmented, more aggressive. Everybody for himself in the fight for everyday life. This is what we are expecting for our leaders, from our leaders. Leaders, what the fuck shall I say? Leaders. First and foremost, here in Romania, we don't have fucking leaders. What are all those leaders do when the civilization are crashing each other? Didn't you read that book? Oh yeah, I read that book. It's fucking bullshit with the clash of civilization. Yeah, and the end of fucking history. You know what the guy said, that now that the USSR collapsed and George W. Bush is in the White House, is the end of history. Kaput, down. It's okay. History ended. Come on, man. Spare me of the bullshit of those radical from the right. Neoconservative, evangelist, Masons, all the fucking day with the Bible in their hand, but only like that for the picture. Let's better play a real ping pong kind of beer to see how it goes. They are doing war games. Let's make some games of peace here. Hey, Chinaman, we do have a friend that his real nickname is Chinaman because the type of the eyes, dark eyes and dark hair, we call him Chinaman. Chinaman, you are gonna play the first with Morel, the American. Morel, my friend, worked for a famous American company. That's why we call it the American. Those two were in great mood, so they already came to the table and they start playing. And everybody had a great time. Maximum kind of joy. Hey, now you got together each other? I joked with them after they finished all the beer on the table. Of course we get friendly each other. Even that we know each other, we sit and talk and we discover that we have a lot in common. Superb! Who is next? I asked. I want to play, the Parisian guy said. I'm playing too. the Irish guy intervened. Hey, they leave you, Leo. Can you give me something to color my beer in green? He asked me jokefully. No, no, I don't. I really don't. Here, everything is eco, bio, supernatural. We have no color in our food and color, you know. And then, if I'm thinking your request is raising a problem here, a political European problem and even a global one. If you would like to have your beer colored in green, then the Chinaman might want his beer colored in red. The American, he might have his beer colored in red, blue, stripes, and some fucking stars. You know what? I really love my country. I love my nation. I love my history. I love my culture, my church, my language that I was born in. However, where are we going to go like this? Because I love all of this, I have to color my beer in red, yellow, or blue. This means if I drink beer colored in the color of the Romanian flag, this means I'm a good Romanian, a true patriot. I don't like this kind of exaggerations. N'est-ce pas? Let's drink green beer only when St. Patrick's Day is only on St. Patrick's Day. So what are you gonna do till then? I don't know. I'm gonna offer diversity. I will have 1,000 kind of beers to give people choices. When I learned this, I entered in a pub in Boston, and there were many, many beers there. There were so many that I even was not able to read the menu. There are too many, and they are all unknown to me. And the menu was thick as a fucking dictionary. That's not a bad idea. But if you would like to do something like that, everybody would like to have a beer from his own country. Buy American, buy Canadian. Yeah, I know that. Buy local. It's a good idea. Buy local is a good idea, a logical one. Why not buy local kind of products and instead buy products that they came from thousands of kilometers away when you have the same kind of thing in your area? However, the problem, this attitude becomes a problem when buy local means isolationist. Oh, I have an idea. Isabella interrupt us. Uh, I went to the birthday of my cousin, and there the other guy, there were two poles. There is the pole with a big belly and the pole that is like a fish, karas. So the karas brought us a beer, very good beer, with a fine kind of taste, aroma, creamy, and very, very brunette, dark. And it was handmade. It was almost like a Guinness. I like it very much. So, not to be any discussion here, why not to brew our own beer? Craft beer it is called. Oh, I drank something like that to different kind of different cities, and I really enjoy it. You can find on the supermarket different kind of aromas. There are, yes, in Romania there are already a large variety of craft beer in the market. How are you gonna Distance yourself. How are you gonna set aside from others? You'll need a new brand, a good name. You're not gonna call it the beer from Shoimar or Leo's beer. You need something more interesting than that. Yes, yes, I understand that. I will call it. I was thinking profoundly, but in that particular moment, took by surprise, I didn't have any kind of inspiration about that. I will call it something with Shoimar, the Hawk, the this. We'll find a name. Okay, Leo, Morel, the hoax, the hawk is not drinking beer. Uh, with the hoax, the royal houses were hunting, and Vlad the Impaler was hunting, and Arab sheikhs, they have their own hawks. It's part of their history and tradition, but there is no beer brand there. Yeah, I know. Beer brand not in the Arab world, but with the hawks, something with the hawk. I don't know. Hawk beer. No, doesn't work. Yeah, I know. You're right. But the Hawks are not drinking beer, but the princes are drinking beer. We are going to create a new brand, and I'm going to call it the Prince of Transylvania. And why should limit ourselves to the craft beer, only to craft beer? What the fuck, you would be some kind of a prince? Somebody said, no, 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 I'm not. But I saw it on TV. On TV, I saw a few princes. Some they impressed me, some they didn't. How about those guys? Do you think they were born presidents? No, they became presidents. That's a big difference, you know. Have you seen where Putin was born? In that kind of neighborhood that where he was born, it was terrible. There were years after the war in Leningrad, and it was a lot of hardship. Xi Jinping was born in Beijing. Him and his family suffered greatly during the Chinese Cultural Revolution. He was exiled in the country when he worked in a farm. He literally digged trenches, and he lived in a house that was digged in stone there. Biden was a kid, a scruffy kid from Scranton, and you know Scranton is a small city in America. And he was, I don't know how to say, stutter or something. He has a defective speech when he was a kid. But later on, with a lot of effort and willpower, he overcome that kind of handicap. Oh, that is like in that movie with the King's Speech. Alina said to me, I like that movie very much. Yes, I like it too. Actually, I bought the DVD and I have it right here in the house. If you want, we can see it tonight. We can see Forrest Gump, we can see the King's Speech. But you know what I have there in the same drawer? The DVD with My Fair Lady, a production of Pump House Theatre, a volunteer theatre in Calgary. Only nothing was amateur. How do you call this? They were all of them. They were very talented, dedicated, and very professional. The show had a live orchestra, superb kind of costumes, excellent kind of scenography, and amazingly good actors. I was there even for 2-3 minutes on a stage. I was the Prince of Transylvania, a character from the play. Eliza, the main character, danced with me a waltz, and she conquered me. She charmed me with her impeccable kind of English, with the spoken with the most refined possible accent. Therefore, her place in the society was assured or something like that. Was safe. Ah, yes, I know. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. Isabella was laughing, reciting and exaggerating the accents. The famous line in the movie. In Hereford and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly happens. Alina is intervening too. Exactly. So, now, what do you think about my brand? It is a good one. Cheers. Wait, there is one problem. You talked about Suica and Palinka, and we drank beer, and then we drank wine, and then you play ping pong beer? How about that? Doesn't work like that. You know, we have a saying here. The beer after wine is a kind of torture. I think that you should pour wine in those glasses, plastic caps, not beer. Hey, yeah, you confuse me. You act like, what are these presidents? Some nasty kind of kids? I like this, I don't like that one, take that one, this. No. If they want wine, I have no problem with wine. We have here wine in Romania. We have wine from 2000 years. We planted grapes on this soil. Romania has enough wine to flood the entire Europe. And then we'll have more to export in America, in Russia, in China, in Australia, and in Africa. You know what? Let me explain it. Let's use some scientific kind of data. According to the experts of National Geographic, in the very sad case that the entire glacier, how do you say, caloto, the glaciers of the planet will melt, cities like Amsterdam, Stockholm, Buenos Aires, Dakar, Cancun would be underwater. We'll have a problem with that kind of raise of the level. On the same line of thinking, if the Romanians will open their butoaie, barrels, that's the word I'm looking for. If the Romanians will open their barrels, the level of wine will rise in all the shops and all the pubs of Europe. And if I add here the amazing kind of wine that the guys from the Moldavian Republic do have there, then Venice will be a swimming pool, an Olympic kind of swimming pool for us. Entire Europe will be under the flood of Romanian wine. Then you will see happiness on the old kind of continent. And then we are not talking about quantity. We are talking, you should taste it, quality. We are talking with all the medals and prizes and diplomas on the table. We are talking about world kind of quality. We can show them. We can be proud of dozens and dozens of medals and prizes that the Romanian wine won as a sign of appreciation of the quality of the Romanian wine. The rest is just marketing, man. Actually, this is not a bad idea what you are saying about maybe at the beginning a glass of good wine will open the discussion for negotiating in good faith. An intelligent kind of discussion. will create a true atmosphere for a great European family that they will keep yapping on TV. You know what? Up to the great European family, we should use our resources here in our own courtyard in Romania. We don't have enough respect for this country and for the beauty of this country. The all the things that God gave it to us on the geographical area of Romania. Let's take as example even the one that you're talking about, the Romanian wine. Even the Romanian is not appreciating, they are not appreciating their own wine enough. Yeah, I thought about that when I was in Calgary. Should be a network, we should have a network of wine bars in all over Romania. We have McDonald's, we have KFC and other kind of franchises, very famous and very profitable, but there is no network of a Romanian franchise to drink wine, to taste wine, and to enjoy the superb atmosphere that can be created around a simple glass of good wine, served together with friends, listening a good kind of music in a beautiful, simple but beautiful kind of location where you can have an intelligent kind of conversation on a normal kind of tone. You know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about because I was in those kind of bars in Canada. You can serve a few beautiful kind of entree, some kind of cheese. I ate some tapas in Spain, in Barcelona, and I fell in love with them. Liviu, you are trying to educate the Romanians. Those guys, they like when there are a lot of people, the crowded kind of bars. They like the music that they can fuck up your ears. The big speakers that should be big as a truck. And if you mix and match some classic rock with some very explicit kind of lyrics, that's the new generation. That's what they like today. That's how you make the big fucking money. You would like some style, some decency, some finesse, some steif. You like the little Paris, petit Paris. And why I wouldn't like something like that? Of course I like something like that. It's not that I want something like that, but this is how it's supposed to be. This is how it should be. If you visit the historical center of Bucharest, I would put barriers at every entrance, and I will make there a special kind of place where you're not going like that. You know, should be an area with dress code in effect. That's how you say it in English. That's what in some certain clubs in Calgary, that is an ad, dress code in effect, where you are not allowed to go in blue jeans or in uh, Adidas or running pants or something like that. You need to have a certain kind of shoe. You are going in the center of the city, right? A quality kind of pants and why not a kind of sacco. I'm getting tired. Anyway, to show yourself that you know how to dress yourself, to behave yourself on those kind of historical streets. You know, this kind of style, it is called upscale casual. It's not compulsory to have a tie or a suit, but you are not allowed to go there in flip-flops or in training. running pants in the middle of Bucharest. When you go there, you walk and you visit centuries of history, culture, and tradition. They should be respected, but first and foremost, they should be renovated. And what are you going to do with the tourists that they are coming there? Casual, jeans, t-shirts. Maybe they came like, students backpacking and they have very little money. They stay a few days in a hostel. What are you going to do with all of this? Are you going to limit their access? Oh, no, no, absolutely not. Being tourists, they can come in any kind of outfit. They travel a lot, they stay in a hostel. I have no desire to see them in a tuxedo and a bow tie. I don't think they have a tuxedo and a bow tie in their backpack. Romanians talk a lot, but it is time to civilize themselves, to educate themselves, to learn how to dress, and to really show that they have style. Now in Bucharest and in the historical center is like a village without guarding dogs. Not the way the foreigners, the visitors, are bothering me, but the way the Romanians are presenting their heritage, historical and cultural heritage, to the foreigners. As a tourist, like in life, first impression is important. A few moments of silence followed down there on the table, and we were drinking our our wine, our beer, and gather together our thoughts. And that's the end of the paragraph. But there is another paragraph after that. And after you finish the ping pong beer at Choimari, what are you going to do with those presidents? Are you going to give them a tour of the old Bucharest, have a glass of wine in one of your new set up wine bars there? Somebody is asking. But you know what? If you want to know what I'm going to do with the presidents after the ping pong beer, that's for the next time. Anyway, cheers and ping pong beer for everybody. It's a Romanian song. I'm gonna play it